Hi Hilary, welcome to GN Inspire. Where are you based and what do you do?
I'm currently based in Houston and I'm in advisory, specifically commercial tech and innovation at PwC.
Break it down, what it involves, like on a day-to-day, week by week, what do you do?
So it's simply building software products. So we innovate, as you know, PwC serves mostly Fortune 500 companies and all these other big corporations. So what we do is we build solutions that would optimize their business solutions or processes or just make them more efficient. In addition to other things we do like tax, general consulting, audit. So we just add the innovation layer to basically make everything within very efficient. Even internally, we optimize our people so that they can easily serve. We can use less people probably to provide value.
Great. So like paint a picture for us, like on Monday through Friday. I imagine like every day would be different, but like take on average, what do you do on a daily basis? Like meetings, I don't know, client visits.
Yeah, it's all over the place. I think there's never a similar day. It's always varying. So sometimes you're speaking with clients to find their requirements or fix their issues. But mostly I would say at my level at the moment, mostly meeting. So we're either meeting with vendors, different stakeholders, customers. So it's always just all over the place, or other professional services, or even internal teams. So some days I'm just on meetings back to back for the entire day until like 6 p.m.
Okay.
Yeah, when I'm not on meetings, it's normally solutionizing too. I really enjoy solving problems. So when I see problems, I like to brainstorm and try to figure out the best solution.
And when we were chatting last, you mentioned about that you're passionate about AI and innovation. Where does it come in a company like PwC?
It's everywhere. So as you know, PwC, like I said, we are close to businesses, right? We're there to make businesses operate better, be compliant with the government, and just basically get the most value out of the marketplace. So PwC surrounds all that layer. So we have to be abreast in terms of the new technologies that are coming so that we can better prepare to help our clients compete effectively in the marketplace. So AI is here now, and it's moving things very fast that if you stay behind, it would be equivalent to, let's say, when we switch to like using cars versus, using a horse, or, when people move to the internet and people just still wanted to stay behind. This is maybe 100 times better than that because AI is going to be literally applicable in every aspect of life. And it's going to really just change how we operate. So it's something that we have to be deeply embedded and be ahead of the curve in terms of that.
Yeah. And I know right now the biggest topic everyone is asking, will AI take away my job? etc. When people ask you that question, what do you tell them? Will it take
to be
away
honest,
jobs?
that's actually the same question I had, right? Because if someone really looks at what AI does at the moment and you know exactly what's happening, it's almost getting to a level that it's able to think, right? And that's the superpower that humans had that technology didn't have. It used to study pattern, maybe predict based on that. But now it's getting to a level that it's getting smarter, that it's almost getting to super intelligence level. There's one part. Is it going to take most people's jobs? Definitely, yes. Like I was talking about the horse, for example, right? So if I had a horse carriage and I was, carrying people in certain area, if cars came, definitely they were going to take those jobs. But if I was at that particular moment, especially the pivotal part of it, I could have probably said, maybe I've saved this money, let me buy a car and start using it. It will make me maybe carry more people quicker, move faster. So it's just about embracing it. But if you stay reluctant and you worry about it being, a disruptor of your day-to-day life versus it being an opportunity, then definitely you're going to be left behind. So what I would say and what I tell people is just try to figure out, if you do content creation, for example, how can I use AI to make this better? If you're in a hospital, how can I learn things related to the hospital setting, medicine, research that will help me be more efficient in my job? So it's definitely going to disrupt a lot of things. So you have a choice to either be disrupted and stay behind and lose your job or such, or embrace it, learn everything about it, and just create the future. So this is a good opportunity for us as human to correct most things. And maybe just this is my personal opinion, but if you think about the society, everything that exists is an idea that we came up with, right? The way we walk at work, the defining of the school system, democracy, all these are just ideas. And we were stuck for a very long time in a place whereby we just have to go through the system to get there. So people just study, they do things they probably don't like in order to make money and survive. So over time, most humans got disconnected from their true passions. So the way I see AI is going to take a lot of these things that probably people didn't even like doing and give us back times as humans so that we can actually live life and enjoy, but at the same time be able to be very productive by using technology. So that's a really good angle to look at it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So it's a question I'm now asking everybody, because I think people, as you can imagine, have different opinions. So thank you for sharing that, and
No
definitely
problem.
makes sense. Now, the biggest question, I was really curious to know, and I know we will talk about your academic journey, but I'm curious to know two things. So the first one, why PwC for you? How did you decide to in PwC? And then number two, we will spend more time. You walk us through if someone wants to join PwC. I know many people are interested in it. It's a prestigious company and you do amazing work. If someone is interested, if a student, a young professional would like to join PwC, what would be like the process? So let's start with you. Like, why did you join PwC? And then take us through like step by step for someone who is keen to join PwC.
Maybe this is what I should have started with at the beginning. So I'm not speaking for PwC at this moment. I'm not representing them. So this is just me on my personal capacity to just make sure we're clear on that. But it's a really good company. And personally, I was actually thinking about this. So I had a notebook that I was just once on a plane and I wrote a list of goals. And I think I was a sophomore, and I wrote the company that I want to work for and all those things I wanted to do, even electronics I wanted to get and stuff like that. So I realized, I went back to it just the other day and I saw I had PwC on my list. So basically what I'm saying is, okay, it depends on the level where you are, but it's something that you probably have to start thinking early so that you can prepare yourself. So I went to different conferences. I interviewed with them. I even went to the office one time. So it's something that I think was subconsciously at the back of my mind. So when it got to the time that I was almost graduating, I interviewed with them and I got it. So my journey was a bit unique. So I didn't just directly go to consulting. So I was studying accounting and finance. So I did an audit internship. But during the course of the end of the internship, they asked us to present. So my team's project was innovation. So I came up with really good ideas, and apparently the company was already working on them. So one of these partners came to me and said, "Oh, would you like to join us? Because it seems you're already passionate about the things you're working on." So I went there. We were building products from scratch. So there's actually a product that we built that currently, I can't probably talk about it, but it's making millions of money. And we started from scratch. So I was part of that process of looking at, how you start a company, how you get customers, and just everything around it to actually having a full-blown product that is successful. So that was really good experience for me. And after that, that's when I moved to now digital and consulting, because I already had experience. And I think for me, it's not so. Normally consulting is you just go give advice to people and then they implement it, but I feel like for me, I was part of both, where I actually see something. It's not like I'm just advising you and then I disappear. I actually build something and it's working. But I think that skills bringing back is the same thought that I have when I'm working with clients. I really want to make sure whatever advice I'm giving them is something that will actually yield results. It's not just sweet words or promises. So it's always something that comes from that perspective. So if someone wanted to apply to PwC, I would just say go for it. I think the main thing is just authenticity. I think the culture overall that has been set is very unique, and it's easy to identify, and it's easy to see when you're interviewing someone. If I was to interview someone right now, I can easily see whether they'll be a good fit or not. It's just something that I can't explain, but it's a sense of authenticity that people have, and the firm has instilled in us. So I would say just be yourself. Don't try to be someone else during the interview, because it's easy to see when I ask you a range of questions. I can see if there's consistency in who you are. So I would say prepare. That's really key. Don't just assume that you will show up and blow the interview. You can do that as well, but it's just good to be prepared so that it can't mentally it prepares you to, if there's any set of questions you would probably see. And there's not always new questions, probably. Like they're all over the internet, and it will always be one of them. So you just practicing and taking that time will eventually show up in the interviews. And then another one is networking. You really have to network with folks. So building relationships is really key in everything. I think it might seem a bit biased, but I've seen people that have really good relationships or network genuinely with others, they get opportunities more frequently. And there's, I think, a psychology behind it, because companies are built based on relationships. So people sign multi-million-dollar deals with people that they trust or people that they see they can build relationships with. So if you bring people like those to your company, you can easily be comfortable that they are going to build relationship with customers or just have a good relationship with customers. So that's a really good predictor of someone who will be successful within the company.
And what is, thank you for sharing that. And what is the process like? Because I know there are these case interview, etc. So assuming I'm a prospective applicant and I want to apply, I imagine like I'll just go to PwC career, and then like what is the process like? You submit materials and then you do rounds of interviews. How was it for you?
So like I told you, my journey was slightly unique. It wasn't the typical one, but I'll just give based on what I think right now what happens. So it depends on where you meet or where you apply, right? So some people, we interview in colleges. So there are colleges that recruiters go to, and then they interview. So those ones will be, you do your first interview with the recruiter, and then once you're done with that, you'll interview with probably a manager, or it will be another person from HR still to screen you first before you hand it over to a manager or a senior manager. And then after that manager, I think that's where you'll probably do the case presentation. And then the last one, if you pass, would be with meeting partners. Or partners probably on the project that you're going to work with will want to speak to you and also make that judgment call whether you're getting hired. And then I think the same would almost be similar if you met them at a career fair or a conference. You will speak to that recruiter, and then the same cycle will proceed as well. And then you have internal transfers. Those are if you're already within the company.
And do you join when you are applying? Do you like apply for, say, advisory or I don't know, audit or the functional areas? You apply to a particular functional area, or is it general and then you specialize?
Normally it's specialized, because I think most times it might be different slightly for interns. I think they have more flexibility to navigate. But if you're coming in as an experienced hire, I think hiring is normally based on needs. So if this team is looking for a software engineer or just a general consultant, they'll be putting a request out there for that. So it will be very specific. On the website, it will always be specific.
Okay, and it's good you mentioned about the interns. How is the process like for interns? For interns, I assume those are like students in school and they want to see how work at PwC is like. So how is the process for them?
It's really good. So personally, I did winter internship because I finished school a semester early. So the rest of my semester, I did the internship. And I think, like I said, they recruit in school. So those ones, it's easier for them because once they come to your school, they recruit you, they hire you to be an intern. And then if you apply on the website, it will be the same process. You interview with them and then you do internship. I think they have 2 rounds, winter and fall internship. So that will be like over the summer and from January to around March. And I think they have different categories of internships too. So there is, I think, something called START. That would be the people just in undergrad. And then they have advanced degrees. So those are grad students. And then I've seen someone that is even doing, is it normally called COP? So he's studying, but he's also working. So he's been part of his work, he's part of school. So he's in tax. And I think sometimes they even benefit. I don't want to speak on them because I haven't done much into it. But I've seen, he told me they even pay for him, his tuition. And then he graduates there. So I would recommend to anyone, because some of these things keeps changing, or some of them might not even be familiar because the farm is so big. I would just go to the website and research, just go see what opportunities for internships or experience hires are there.
How is, from what you know, how is recruitment like depending on does it depend on the region, or is it like a blanket one way of doing things? Because I know you recruited in the US. Do you think it would be the same, say, if you were in Nairobi?
I would say every region probably has slight variation. It might not be exactly the same, but I think the farm always tries to maintain the same set of processes globally, but it won't be
Okay.
exactly the same. Because I remember, maybe we'll talk about that, but I did law for like a semester in Kenya before I came here, and accounting as well. So I wanted to be a corporate lawyer. And I think there was something called management trainee offered by companies like PwC or KPMG. So that's what I was eyeing for as part of like my internship experience. But we don't have similar yet. There's nothing even called management trainee. So that's why I think there's slight variances in different countries.
Okay. Now, the most exciting part of all
Yeah.
this is the M word. M word.
Yeah.
Let's talk
Mokaya.
about money. Clever. But the other M, which is
Yeah.
money. You don't have to mention like exact numbers, but give us a range just so that we are excited about PwC. When I join, I don't know, and also give us ranks. So I joined, say, let's assume I start as an intern. I assume interns are also given some compensation. So let's say intern, give us some range there. And then when I joined the company immediately after school, after undergrad, what is like range? I know it depends on the region, but let's just talk about, say, the US or whatever region, whatever other region you know.
Yeah.
And then, yes, give us the ranks. So you join, what is the name of the level you join after undergrad? And then where do you go from there?
Yes. So probably I won't even give the range because I think that's beyond my scope. Like I don't think we are allowed to do that. But what I would say though is it's very competitive compared to the market. So what they normally do, they go on for whatever role you do, or at least that's what we're told. They go and look at the marketplace, and it will always be at least what the market pays, but it's always above what the market pays.
Wait, when you say market,
Well, there
is it
is a way they do research, right? I think there are
Okay.
companies that already average, and of course it will be maybe companies of the similar category. They won't be comparing with a small company, so it will be an average of like big companies of the same size and the roles, how much they pay, and then of course they'll always try to compensate. And then they have a really generous bonus. I think it's just to motivate people. It's really good percentage, so that comes in terms of your salary, and then there's a ton of benefits. Like I don't pay for my phone bill. I don't buy my phone. Really great insurances, good holiday packages. So I can go to Kenya actually go for a month every year to Kenya. There's just a ton of benefits that come with it. So cumulatively, if you add that, it's actually way above the marketplace. So it's
Okay.
So there's this standard, and I think it might change with the future just based on how things are going. But currently, when you join, you become an associate. And then within an average of 3 years, you become a senior associate. And then from a senior associate, an average of 3 to 4 years, you become a manager. And then from a manager, similar. So it will always be an average of like 3 years. You go to senior manager, director, and then partner. And then you don't have always to go to a partner level. You can become a principal, you can become a managing director, or there's something else, partner as well. So that's how it goes. It's very standard across.
Tell us about just what, with your own experience so far in the company. I know every role, every job has a pro, a con, a high, low. So just give us one. It doesn't have to be like super high or super low, but like what is one thing that excites you a lot about the job? And that is, and then also one thing that if you were to just like, I do want to do this from tomorrow, you will be so happy. So one good thing about the job, and then maybe one thing that you are like, I don't like this about the job.
So one good thing about the job, I would say, it's the teams. Like I was telling you, there is just a certain caliber of people that come in that if I was to go to a completely new team, I would just exactly have the same experience. So I quickly realized that that's actually what defines your work experience. Because if you think about what you do, we can always, or they can easily hire someone to do what you do any single day. So it's not much so of what you do on a day-to-day basis, but the people that you work with, the team that you work with collaboratively. If they are really great, then your work experience is great. And I would say, I think for me, most of them have been like family. So like even when someone leaves or we change teams, you actually feel like you lost some sort of connection or friendship within the team. So I would say that's the biggest one. And then there's a lot of support. There's always training. There's always things that are trying to grow you. There's clear paths. There's no ambiguity on like, if you want to go to the next level, or like things are very transparent. You know, if you're qualifying to get promoted or not. It's very easy to tell, and I can tell someone is ready to get promoted. So it's not like things that people hide. So it's very apparent, and it gives you the opportunity to do what you want. And you can easily change teams, change roles, and do that. So that flexibility and that sense of family, I think, for me is grown. And then the other one is they just, and I think this is everywhere, there's just some sort of things. There's always changes every time that come, switching technologies, maybe moving from Google to Microsoft, or certain processes you have to do just because you have to do. So I would say things like those are normally, it's not like really a con, but it's not the best part of work as well. But I wouldn't say it's like a deal breaker or anything. It's just experiences that you have to do. Yeah. And then personally for me, I think, and this is very deeply personal, is I like working on new things, momentary projects, so periodically and things like that. So things that I have to like constantly do and feel like I'm not growing. And I think this is not company specific. This is very personal, but those are things too that are like on the side of cons for me. Like I wish I was in a world where, I'm just doing new things or breaking through or super enhancing things.
Okay. No, thank you for sharing. And before we close this chapter of like your career, one thing that I forgot to ask, I know you did accounting and finance, which is super translatable or very, I don't know, complementary to what PwC does. Are there course like field of study that are more, I don't know, that they hire from more than others? Like for like medical doctors? Yeah.
So in consulting, different types, like if people that consult in the healthcare, because I worked in that space for a very short time. Yeah, you work with professionals, especially for these big pharmaceutical industries. So they hire like PhDs or MDs. So there's always a specialist needed for certain types of consultancies in-house, to help us, even in the legal space. So they are pretty much just across the board, just based on need. Because I think we touch almost every industry. So there's always a need for specialists for that. But I would say now, and I think this is just across the industry, there was a surge, or there's still a surge for hiring super technical folks, just because of AI and everything that has been happening. And I think even if you look at banks, I think they hire more software engineers now than even like people in finance. So it's just the way the world, I think, has changed.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Before we close this chapter and move to your academic CV, if you were to just reflect back to, I know you've had like exciting and your trajectory is going up. If you were to just single out top three career lessons you've learned so far, or 3 things that you think in reflection have helped you progress to where you are. If you were like giving this advice to this person who is joining PwC like today, what would be like those 3 things you would, like pieces of advice or lessons you would give them?
So the first one would be definitely, let me think about it. I would say passion. So I would say be very passionate about what you do. And I don't mean like obsession that you just, you're sleeping and talking about it, but I mean being very interested in what you're doing and doing it really well. So someone said the world is a museum of passion projects. And this basically means everything that you see around you, that beautiful house, those skyscrapers, or that nice car, the best car that Mercedes-Benz has built right now as we speak, that car is because someone was very passionate about building it. So everything around you is because someone was passionate enough to build it. So if you go to places where things are not ideal, that reflects their level of passion. So if you do things, let's say you work on a spreadsheet and, you just do magic on it. You just do the best you can. And if you apply that everywhere in your life, you'll realize like your output, and people will see it, and you'll derive satisfaction out of it as well. So I would just say that's number one. If you don't have it, just try to align, and people will always support you. That's what I've seen. They'll always support you to do what reflects your strengths if you speak up enough, which goes to the second point. Someone else also told me squeaky wheels get oiled. So if you don't speak up, most people won't be able to figure out what you need. So if you're in your job, you need to say what you need, find people that will listen to you and are willing to support you, tell them what you want, and they'll help guide you. And what I've seen, the best managers, they don't feel threatened by you being overambitious. They're actually always willing to support you. And you'll always be able to see those people, even in school, those teachers that are always looking after you. So find those people in your life, and people that you see are against your motion, just avoid them. Not literally, but like, don't focus on them. Focus on the people that are willing to uplift you. And I think that will take you far.
Okay.
Yeah, and then another one that I'll just tie, I think I'll tie them together, is relationships and communication, which I think goes to speak up. Relationships are really key. I would say talk to everyone whenever you can. And this will help you even in just general life, right? So I know sometimes we get shy, or just because, especially someone like me, right? Most places that I've been or where I've worked, it's only me, or it's only me from Kenya. So I think being able to get out of the comfort zone and build those relationships and be fluid, I will really take you far. And then the rest is just, upskill yourself. Don't remain the same, just the same way we talked about AI. Always learn, always speak to people. And you'll realize, it's not just all about work, it's life. And work is part of life in general. So don't always just talk to people about spreadsheets or balance sheet or, research. Just talk about other things in life too. And people feel comfortable when you connect with them authentically outside of, the framework of just work.
Amazing. I do know. I will not want to dilute. So I've made notes, and I'll make sure I highlight this, because these are super important. And the reason why I ran this podcast is so that we can learn, because just hearing someone reflect on what they've learned can give a food for thought and can help someone. So thank you for sharing those three lessons. Help us stitch your education CV.
Yep.
You mentioned law in Kenya, and then you said you did that briefly. You abandoned it, and then accounting and finance. Help us teach what happened there.
Yeah, I feel like my journey has been very, very unique, very different. Like, it's hard. Like, when I went to Kenya and my uncle was telling me, there's this young girl, her mom said, they want you to give her advice, tell her your story so that they can do the same thing. I was like, this is so hard, because my path wasn't that typical. So maybe let me give the whole journey. So after high school, just in high school, I was very passionate about many subjects. And I think for me, the way I was trying to figure out career was using passion, right? So I would score really well in biology, English, almost everything. So it became harder for me to say, I'm really good in physics, let me just be a physicist. So I think I struggled with that dilemma, and I still wanted to do everything. And which I came to realize there is a name for someone that is learning about every aspect of life, or just different fields. So I did, just after high school, I went to Strathmore and I did ACCA. So this is a global version of CPA. So you can apply it all over the world. So I did that. At the same time, I went to law school, which is government sponsored, right? University of Nairobi. So I did bachelor's of law. At the same time, I was doing ACCA. Like I said, I think I was starting to a corporate law. And that's what I thought my journey would be. But then during the course of that first semester, I received a scholarship to come to the US. And just before that, I applied to many schools in the US, and they would give me partial scholarships. And my parents told me, because my cousin was here, told them it's really hard to pay for yourself for college. They say unless he gets a full scholarship, he shouldn't come. I gave up. So I started school, and I was just focused in Kenya. And then I got a scholarship in the mail. So I had to postpone my schooling in Kenya, and I came over here. So I went to a school. It's an HBCU school in South Carolina. HBCU is historically Black colleges and university. So it was really awesome experience. I got to learn a lot about the Black culture, historical context, and just immerse myself in the experience. Ironically, what I didn't know was it was actually a stepping stone to so many things that happened later in life. In that school, there was many diversity and inclusion opportunities, people that were pursuing them, including some Kenyans that came before me. So they were going to this program called Summer, I think something for emerging leaders. In California, it was fully paid for 2 weeks. And then you would meet companies like Deloitte. So I went and did a case competition, and my team won the first project. Actually, that project that I presented is currently being used by Uber. Like, Uber adopted it because that was a project that we did. And so that just built me and connected me with a network of students from all over the US who had the same ambition. So from that, I was traveling every semester. I interviewed with all the big companies, Apple, Facebook, Goldman Sachs. Basically, I would be out of school almost every week or every month. So it was really a good experience. I got a ton of scholarships that the school would pay me refunds. So I was getting pocket money from scholarships from the school. So we were sharing the money because my fees was already fully paid for. But basically that really, I think, helped me transition and be very effective. And I think the highlight of them, so that I don't bore you with all this list, is I became an ambassador to the White House. So I went to the White House. I was representing historically Black colleges and universities, talking about innovation or just, speaking on their needs and things like that. That Trump sent me a Christmas card or something. So that was really awesome. Yeah, so that was a really good experience. And then after that, of course, I went to PwC. I did my internship and then came back full time like in June. So I graduated in May. I came back in June, and it's been interesting. So I went to build products internally, switched a few teams, and now I'm working. My current projects are actually building digital workers. So we're building AI, which is basically the same mindset that I was saying. Instead of worrying about being replaced, I decided to actually be part of the movement and actually build and make the farm more efficient and make it leverage AI.
Wow, that is a good summary.
Yes.
And thank you for highlighting the fact that our journeys are different. And yes, but wherever we are headed, we will get there one way or another.
Yeah.
There is an MBA somewhere.
For me, I never leveraged it, or I haven't thought of leveraging it, so it just kind of disappeared at the back of my mind. So normally, at least in my company, it's more based on experience because you're already here. So even if I get so many credentials and my performance doesn't reflect that, it won't really have an impact as such. And someone else could have just finished college and they are really high performing, they'll easily progress within. Yeah, but I did.
Okay. All right. Do you have other any other like out of work, out of school, out of career passions you are willing to share with us?
Yeah. So I think I have a ton of things. I think for me, and this is actually really important. So I was very focused on academics. So, from school, I was always competing to be number one, number two. And then it just became a race. I came here. And then I realized after like 1 year or two, I was still very competitive even at work. Like if I came up with an idea and then I told someone and then they tell now, let's say it's a senior manager and then they now own it and present it as theirs, I would feel bad, or everything would just be a competition. And then that's when it clicked. I was like, I think the system we were raised in, in the way in Kenya, it's very competitive, wasn't meant for teamwork. And then I realized even in college, people would just do assignments together. People would do things and it was easy. But for me, I think it was always wanting to win. And I think that catches up with you later in life. You realize, it's not all about competition. If it's dopamine or adrenaline you're getting from that, you realize like it won't sustain you lifelong. So you almost kind of crash. So I went in all this journey of like rewiring and trying to get away from that. It wasn't easy, I think. So of course, fixing the team spirit. And then I started doing personal things, optimizing my mind basically. So I started doing things like yoga. I started cycling. I played tennis. So I just started having life outside of that. And I stopped talking to my friends even about work stuff. So very rarely, even now, you would find me talking about career stuff. So I really connect with people from an authentic point of view. I just want to know you as Gladys, know your thoughts about different subjects and just be there as a human being. So that's what drove most of my passion, more focused on connecting, participating in the community. I haven't done it yet, but I'm currently involved in different African organizations within the city. So I go there. We had one the other day where people are presenting ideas, tech products or their businesses, startup. I met people from Uganda, from Cameroon. So it's really interesting to just be part of the community. And what I was saying I haven't done is I want to give back and maybe dedicate Saturdays to go, if there's, feeding the homeless or doing things of that nature. I want to be able to give back to the community as well.
Oh, amazing. Yeah. So in closing, just because of time, and I know I'll call you another time to talk about AI, innovation, and everything else. But I want to look at this camera right now. We have only one camera, so I'm just pretending. I'm pretending that we have many cameras. But look at this camera and talk to your cousin, talk to your mentee who they are just starting undergrad somewhere in Kenya, because that is where you came from. What will you tell them? I know you had mentioned something about our journeys are different, but like just speak to them. They are young, energetic, like 20 years, and they are looking at your career, admiring your journey. Just one thing in closing.
One thing that I would tell anyone is the mind is a really powerful tool, and don't limit yourself. Your mind basically determines everything around you. The mindset that you develop is really critical in your life success. So everything you know, like I was saying, democracy, buildings, ideas, the way people live their life is someone's idea. All of this came from the mind. So just unwrap your mind, let it be like a parachute. And any idea that you have, even if people think it's silly, because they say passion is personal. So whatever you deeply feel is burning inside you, whatever you want to start, whatever you want to do, wherever you want to go, just do it. And then if you fail, at least you know you've tried rather than having not tried. So personally, and this is something I didn't mention, from when I was in class 5, I told my friends, like I never pictured myself going to a Kenyan university. Like my mind always knew I would come to the US. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know how I was going to come here, but that was always at the back of my mind. And subconsciously, things work out in their best course. I connected, like the people that are supporting that idea. There's a lot of people I met in Eldoret, because that's where I lived, that actually helped me come here. It wasn't even family. And I didn't know those people. But the moment I started, just having this idea and pursuing it constantly through life, I met people, I spoke to a lot of people in the US back then. So things will align, the universe will help you, and just don't limit yourself. Just go for it. I think I said a lot.
No, do not limit yourself. I will not dilute it.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Larry, for creating time to inspire us.
Thank you, Gladys. This was really good. I think we should do another episode and just focus on certain topics.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
All right.
Okay, bye.